Well, welcome everybody. It's really good to meet you all and be here on the Brand Innovators stage. They do such great work, and I'm really excited about the new Netflix partnership and excited to talk to these esteemed panelists up here. So let's talk about retail. The evolution of the space has been pretty amazing over the last even 3 to 5 years. When you think about the role technology now plays, the focus on the omni-channel experience, the expansion of data-driven decision-making, largely informed by the explosion of retail media networks. There's so much robust richness there that really didn't exist for probably the last even 5, 6, 7 years. I was at Amazon for a very long time prior to Netflix, so I remember when we didn't have a lot of things that we have now. And so this is really exciting to see the trajectory of this industry. What gets you guys excited about where the industry is headed? We'll start with you.
Yeah, I think it's the opportunity for complete transformation from the ground up of everything we do and the way we think about things, and the challenge for all of us to think not just differently than we have, but strategically differently. We've been hearing a lot of commentary this morning about how marketers are reinventing the corporate culture, how they're engaging the employees in all of their initiatives, and that's something that we do at Rite as well. But there's not just the opportunity, but the necessity to redefine. I read this article about AI, and it said 875,000 jobs are going to be lost to AI over the next 3 years. But then the expectation of new jobs being created is probably double that. And it's not just a shift in skill set, it's a complete retransformation of how business thinks. And I just think we're on the verge of something very cool.
Yeah, I mean, hello? All right, maybe I'll just, there you go. Hello. Or turn it on.
Turn it on.
Well, it's the little things, right? Attention to detail. I'm excited about attention to detail. Right. No, I think that, look, we were just talking about this just a second ago. We're in the midst of probably one of the toughest times for retailers that I certainly can recall, that many can recall. I know we talked about the pandemic. The reality is it's tough out there right now. But what is affirming is in the midst of concerns, soft consumer sentiment, things of that nature, we still are a source of connection, joy, possibilities, inspiration, exploration, and the reinvention that we're doing has an opportunity to propel us on the other side of this tough time into a more central position in people's lives. And so, you never waste a challenge or an opportunity, right? We're in the midst of one right now, and if you are a brand that can position yourselves, as we talked about earlier today, with head and heart, you set yourself up for a really bright future. So I'm excited about that.
That's a really good answer. And I don't want to spoiler alert, but that is a nice segue into what I want to talk to you about in a moment with a new partnership that I think does exactly what you... does exactly what you described.
Awesome.
Joe?
I would say I'm most excited for the unknown. And that, to me, I love that constraint really drives creativity. You remember that, Amazon. And I'm really excited about that, because when we're kind of pushed against a corner, when you're having some tough times, like, okay, how do we connect to our consumers? How do we buy the right merchandise? What do you do to stay at the forefront? It really makes everyone at our company, anyone's company, kind of really think creatively. How can we do this? And so for me, that's the most exciting part. Is I'm not exactly sure what the next 10 years are going to hold, but I know that it is going to be faster than what we've ever kind of seen before, and that excites me, is how fast can we keep up, and do we actually have the right organization to keep up with that? And we can't just think about what happened 2, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. We have to think about what are our consumers expecting in 5 years, and are we building our organization and tech stack to make sure that we're able to operate that. And that, to me, is super exciting. And so I love coming to places like Brand Innovators and Shop Talk and E-Tail and all these places, because you get to see these people that are trying to think of those things and spark ideas. And that, to me, just is what gets me up in the morning.
Yeah, that's great. Just a follow-up question to your point of getting the organization rally behind you to be able to sort of create the infrastructure needed and the organization needed to move forward and look around corners. What are some of the things that your organizations are doing and what you helping to drive within those conversations?
I'll definitely start. I think for me is not just I'm hiring for this position. You hire a person and saying, you can probably do 3 or 4 different things, so that as we move, I'm saying, all right, you're doing this one day, actually going to shift you over here. So having that person that has a mindset that is outside of their own organization, I think is really important. And you always look at people's resumes and things like that, but I love those people that I could put in any role, and you all know you have those people. You can put them in any role and they would be successful and they would figure it out. And I think really focusing on that and training and developing your team. I think we at times, everyone has maybe some learning and development programs they have in their company, and I would probably say they're not top notch. Even at a place like a Walmart, it was good, but it wasn't great. And so really making sure that you're focusing in on that employee kind of training so that they can be ready to take on those tasks that they might not even know they have to take on.
Yeah, what I would say is, I was actually at a dinner yesterday, and we were talking a lot about AI and where we're going with AI. And I think the 2 macro use cases that I threw out there was, one, we're leaning into technology to make rudimentary activity more efficient. So I'm excited about the fact that we are able to put more time against high value activities and leverage technology to help us move faster in that way. Now, you have to put guardrails around it because, folks will wind up using the tools in ways that were not expected, and that can also cause problems, but that definitely is one use case. The other use case is, how do you, in the spirit of upskilling and moving into new ways, how do you use technology to create true competitive advantage? So in my world, right, we sell fragrances. So we went through an activity where we smelled the fragrances. If you haven't gotten your hand cream, get your hand cream, get your hand sanitizer. But what happens when you can't smell the product? When you are in a digital environment, right? We've got to help people smell with their eyes, smell with their ears, smell with the anticipation of what touch feels like, and also through technology, help them navigate a really complex landscape that is fragrance and very personal. And so imagine a world where through real language, you could say, I'm feeling like a little grumpy today, or I'm feeling inspired, or whatever the case may be, and a AI model could lead you through to ultimately find the perfect fragrance that will be mood enhancing, environment transforming, and that becomes like a game changer for us because now people are invited to participate in ways that they hadn't before. And so we're trying to lean into both of those macro use cases to really, really move the needle.
I like it, multi-sensory.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm supposed to say anything after that. Wait, let me. So I sell ice cream. No, I sold ice cream. I was happy with that. No, what we're doing, which I think is super important for all of us as marketers, is making marketers get outside marketing, right? And for all of you that are here from marketing role, you're being asked to write copy, you're being asked to create strategy, you're being asked to create programs, looking at data, which is great. We all look at data. I'm data obsessed. But when you get out and talk to customers and get your marketing team outside of marketing and put them in other roles, have them sit with the legal team, have them look at what it looks like to go through red lines of a contract and understand what's going on there, have them understand how to talk to the finance team. Those are skills that I think are so critical for teams as we're trying to get through everything today and be prepared for the future. If your marketing team can't understand and appreciate not just your customers, but the roles within your organizations, you're never going to get the advocacy that marketing teams need to support the initiatives and the great ideas. I think everything that's happened on this side of the conversation.
That's great. Well, you kind of touch in and out of innovation because it sort of weaves into everything that you do, which is great. But if you think about the term innovation, the definition, it's the same, but how that manifests for different leaders, different organizations, certainly looks different depending on where they sit. If you could do the most innovative thing this year, what would that look like?
Sorry, with me?
Sure.
Oh, great. I would say, for me, I know that AI is thrown out a lot, and it's the buzzword, of the last 2 years. But really harnessing that and saying, what does that mean to our consumers? What are they ready for? So for me, it is decreasing the amount of time that it takes someone to go online, search for something, and find exactly what they want. And this goes into kind of a hyper-tailoring, personalization, what most people call it. I love tailoring because I want to tailor to me. And so for me, what we are working on right now, which will hopefully be launched by the end of the year, is making it easier and kind of cutting that time almost in half. And so for me, again, I think everyone in this room can agree, who has 3 to 4 hours to spend shopping? Raise a hand. No, great. So we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to minimize that, because time is something that we don't have at all. We can never get it back. So to me, that is the most important thing for our customers and for myself. And so I want to make sure that I'm saving time, energy, and effort to all the people who actually shop. And so that is the number one thing that I'm focusing on. There's a lot of different work streams we have to get there. But to me, I'm focusing on what do the customers actually need and how can I give that to them in a much faster way than what we ever thought we could.
Love that.
Yeah, so I think, on our side for innovation, we're in a unique situation, which you'll hear me talk about after lunch. Rite filed bankruptcy in October. So we're in bankruptcy. We're in the tail end of the bankruptcy process. And with it, our budgets, take away. There's nothing. So we've been forced to innovate and rethink everything that we're doing. Different technologies, different ways to move forward, but also with our optimized store footprint, different ways to really provide a hyper-local service to the community. And so innovation for us right now is about continuing to rebuild who we are as a brand as it pertains to the hyper-local communities that we serve with our pharmacy and our vaccines and even the front end of the store. So when we look at innovating, we are looking at what is the community saying about our stores that is the proof that our innovations have demonstrated our ability to serve them even better than we were able to, a year ago during COVID or even before that.
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, innovation is an opportunity to help people more fully appreciate the role that scent plays in their life. And so we're already down this path, so we can talk about it in a second, but oftentimes we don't fully appreciate how much more enhanced life, how much more fully you can live life if your full sensory palette was engaged. And so, innovation looks like getting people to have a new dimension to experience something that they haven't done before. Innovation looks like showing what can be inspired after you engage with a fragrance that sort of lights up your world. Inspiration looks like a movement of people sort of speaking to the power of fragrance for us. And so we're trying to find what are those spaces, because we can develop innovation all day long to make speed and efficiency top of mind. We can develop innovation that is ultimately going to put new products on the shelf. But if people don't feel it at the end of the day, we've missed a big opportunity during this time.
Yeah, and I think that's an excellent point, and I think being at Netflix now for 11 months, that's deeply in our DNA, the emotional connection, which is why we have such much fandom, and the ability to drive the cultural conversation is so key to winning hearts and minds. And I sometimes think it could get overlooked, and data is incredibly important. We use it to make all the decisions that we should, but let's not forget we have to win hearts and minds to actually create real action. So let's talk about the partnership.
Why not?
So first of all, I was lucky enough to be in the meeting with Maurice where this first sort of ideation came about. I think I was like 2 months in. I think you were 3 months in, which was even more impressive because I was so.
It was the newbies united. It was,
right,
it was
that's
awesome.
what happened, guys. No, it was just incredible to see so much creativity and passion and really leadership in steering everyone in the right direction. Having a room full of creatives is not always very streamlined in terms of getting back to the goal of what we're trying to create. And you're really consistently, I think it was a 2-hour meeting, and you consistently were able to say, okay, this is great, let's go back to the actual point of this, to your point that you just made earlier, the multi-sensory, the emotional tie, how do we experience Netflix titles alongside what you do best, body sense, home products, and I think we did a really good job of that. Do you want to talk a little bit about what that partnership looks like?
This is spot on. I mean, in that room, it felt like, the conversation started with, hey, it would be nice if we did a consumer products partnership that would bring and draw more attention to both of our brands. And then the conversation migrated to, well, you're about fandom, and we have passionate fans, and so what's missing here? What ingredient could we put into the mix that would deepen fandom and actually add value to the experience? And so the idea there was, what would happen if we could actually place fans inside of the content that they're most passionate about? And let's do that by igniting their senses. And so this idea of creating the scent of a scene sort of was born out of that. And it just started to unlock the creative genius that was in the room to say, well, if that's the case, how do we really bring this to life? And it's more than just producing product. It is about the storytelling that goes around it. It's about the integration into the content itself. It's about true endemic partnership. By the way, we're starting with an amazing title in Bridgerton, which is just ripe for the right kind of storytelling and immersion. But I think that could show up across a lot of use cases in the Netflix world. And so this partnership has sort of blossomed into something that was bigger than we could have imagined, and I think it's going to be super, super exciting. We want to transform the way that people binge from this point on.
Yeah, it's an amazing partnership. So it goes live March 25th.
Yes, indeed.
Available in stores. We're just going to start since and follow with other titles throughout the year. It's a year-long partnership. So
32 SKUs. 32
Wow.
SKUs.
Wow.
So it is a big bet that we were making on this partnership, and we can't wait to see you all engage with it.
So go ahead and like guys next week. Thanks. So Joe, Zappos 25th anniversary. Amazing, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You there the whole time?
I wish I would have been. But our company can now rent a car not to pay extra insurance, so I'm super excited about it.
That's good.
Yes.
Progress.
Yes.
So tell us about how you're bringing in this amazing milestone.
Yeah, so we've got some amazing brands. So we have some things, some capsule collections from 1999 coming in from like Steve Madden and Dolce Vita. We also have some great exclusives from like Brooks. And we have some things from Birkenstocks and UGG and all these great brands. And with a show that was on Netflix called Is It Cake? I'm not sure if anyone actually watched that before. So the creator of that, we have our own little spotlights kind of series called Kicks or Cake, where she's actually making all of our exclusives into cake. And we're going to have a big like Instagram moment, so fun. Half of them I actually got right. I was only about 50%. I'm like, that's not a shoe. This is the shoe. Oh, actually, this is cake. I'll take both. So that's another way we're kind of celebrating. We also have some great give backs to our consumers because we do have a large portion of our consumer base who started with us in 1999 that are still with us. And so we're doing a lot of rewards with them through loyalty. We're doing exclusive sales, private sales for those consumers that have been with us for so long. And we're having a huge birthday party event on July 12th at our home office. So very excited about that. More to come. But overall, it really is a give back to our consumers. You know, our customers are everything for us. We create that wow experience, and we consistently try to do that every single day. So creating that emotional connection with them. And I love that we have these amazing consumers that have been with us for 25 years. So celebrating them is really a celebration of our birthday. We're not really celebrating us, we're really celebrating everyone that made this happen. So super excited. Yeah.
Look after that. Jeanniey, you are an incredibly busy woman. You are managing the brand transformation and accelerating growth of Rite and Thrifty, while also finding time to give back to the public and creating this inspirational and educational original content through Liftoff Enterprises. Help us understand how you think about those two distinct businesses, Rite and Thrifty, and then where does Liftoff kind of fit into that?
Yeah.
How do you find the time?
So it's the most fun that I've had in my many decades career is right now. They're all vastly different initiatives. So Rite Aid is a traditional retail pharmacy in crisis, coming out of this bankruptcy in need of massive transformation. It was a voluntary financial restructuring, and that was necessary and gives a unique opportunity, like I said, to tie yourselves to a community in a way that we hadn't done as effectively as we should have in the past. So that requires us to look at everything from a large company, reinvent it all, redefine what we're doing. And it's really great from a marketing perspective because there's no pushback on change management. Normally for all of us as we come into new roles, you've got to first validate that marketing is important. Then you've got to justify to the executive leadership why it's important. Then you come up with a big idea like your partnership, and you've got to get buy-in for that. When you're in bankruptcy, guess what? You need to do that all, so nobody really pushes back. So that's great, and it's high stakes because it's such a large business and connected to so many communities. On the other side, Thrifty. So Rite Aid bought Thrifty Pharmacies, and with it came an ice cream plant. And with the ice cream plant, it kind of has been running quietly on its own, with Thrifty ice cream only being sold through Rite Aid stores. And as Rite Aid stores have continued to close down, the business of Thrifty has continued to see sales fall, which is sad, because if you're from LA or if you know Thrifty, it's the highest quality ice cream that you can have. So what we've learned is it's a cult classic brand. And my biggest challenge is not screwing that up. Last week, the Kardashians, Khloe Kardashian was in some kind of press because she went to the Calabasas Rite Aid store without makeup on. That was the news. And she got Thrifty ice cream for herself and her 2 kids. So the ice cream's all in the picture, and it's spotted that Khloe Kardashian's out without makeup on, and she's eating ice cream, and it's Thrifty. And that's great, but she went there because she loves the brand. And how do you maintain this cult classic brand and make it national, drive fandom with it, but in a super relevant, authentic way without screwing it up? So no big AdWord campaigns, no big billboard campaigns. It's got to be subtle. It's the opposite of the Rite Aid job. And then separately, before Rite Aid and Thrifty, I decided that there's no more work-life balance. It's work-life blend. And I wanted to start an actual TV show, linear on CBS and also streaming on Tubi, that really appreciates people as whole individuals. Yes, you are the role that you have at Netflix, but you're also a regular person. And if you're learning something, you're sitting in a conference like today, don't just look at everything that you're hearing about sense and the role you play in your life and think, oh, when I go back to my job, I need to do this. You're thinking about it as a person too. Oh my God, I should go shopping. Why are all shows, why are all the content that we're seeing looking at us and talking to us as one type of person instead of a holistic, multivariate, multidimensional person that we are? And why can't we learn from the content on just how to make our whole lives successful? There's a woman, and her name is Marjorie Haddad. She wrote a book called The Power of PR Parenting. She was a guest on the show. She uses her PR crisis skills to teach people how to parent better. And that is a perfect explanation of everything that we all learn. So that's the TV show. They're all pretty vastly different. I think I learned more from the guests on the show than I've ever learned before, and I apply it to everything I do right in Thrifty. So
Do you have a clone?
do I have a clone?
How do you do it?
That's my secret.
And that's important work. So thank you for doing that. I did check out a few episodes, and it was really good. So I think we have a few minutes, do we, for some Q&A?
Yes, we'll take a question or two.
Okay.
I just first, thank you all. This is a fantastic panel. I mean, I'm going to borrow the joke. Bringing wow. And this does not apply to just Joe on this one. I think there's 4 people bringing the wow. Last week I was at Craft and we did something similar. And it was Jess Voltaggio, the VP of Branding Creativity. She had a quote that I thought was really good. And you guys are all doing these things except for one of them. It says, dream big, start small, but most of all, start. I think you guys forgot the start small. I mean, like, to pull off Bridgerton in that is crazy. So that was definitely not starting small, but you did start, and you probably started immediately. So really cool stuff. Great job.
Stacked, truly. Hi, I'm Chris. I'm with Ad Marketplace and Advertiser Partnerships. Thank you so much for your time, first and foremost. We're all marketers, but we're all consumers. We all consume these brands. I know you hold a huge share of home in my life. So what are you guys most, and this is for all of you, including Amy, what are you looking most forward to? What are you excited about in terms of not how you grow your share of voice, but how you grow your share of life for your consumers? Because all of your products touch us in many different ways. Clothing, accessories, scents, hair care, lip care, entertainment, toiletries, food, ice cream. What are you most excited about in how you grow your share of people's lives for 2024?
Very
So good.
Love this. I love this. I think for me, it really is. We're at Zappos. We're focused always on creating that personal, emotional connection. So for me, it's not about the number of consumers or growing the consumer base. We're really a site that focuses in on kind of word of mouth virality. And so for me, when we do a lot of the things that we do, like offer free shoes, do a lot of give backs, and really kind of focus on our consumers, I'm not doing it to say, well, I'm doing this because that's going to create a 5x ROI for my thing. We're doing it because we actually care. And so for me, it really is showcasing that to our consumers again to make sure they understand that we are on their side and we are there to help them through every step of their life. We have a big ages and stages that we kind of go through of how can we make sure that we're enriching their lives from when they buy their first shoe as a kid to adulthood as well, and make that very, very easy. So for me, it's consistently delivering wow and over-delivering that wow to make sure that we create that amazing connection so that people do say, you know what, I know I have a lot of options to shop for shoes, accessories, and apparel at other places, but I want to do it at Zappos because I do feel like they care. And that's embedded in our culture, and that's the main reason why I came to Zappos, was because the culture is so strong. I think people talk about brand building, and it's about glossy things, and how does a brand look, and I'm gonna spend all this money in marketing, and really for us, it is about the culture and the people. And I will have to say, this is probably the best company I've ever worked at from a culture standpoint. I truly feel like I belong. So I feel like I really belong in my company and I'm a raving fan of my own company. That's going to exude to everybody else. So for me, that's what I'm most excited about.
I love that. So when I first started with Bath & Body Works, one of the early learnings that was an aha for me was, this brand is well known, but not well understood. Actually, when we talked to our customers, what we heard from them was, I love your scents, but I actually don't know who you are as a brand and what you stand for. So one of the things that I'm excited about is being really, really clear about who we want to win with and why, but then deepening relevance with them. And that is not just sort of selling them things, but it's also going into those communities and giving something back to them that is beneficial, edifying, accretive, that helps them live more fully. And so I'm excited about that because I feel like that will allow for our customers to understand the soul of the brand, and that is as important in this phase of growth and development for the brand as putting forward the right collaborations and products.
And I'm most excited about unleashing 35,000 brand ambassadors. What we're doing at Rite, you'll hear more about this later, is we're turning every single employee or associate into a brand ambassador. I don't have the budgets to do all the great things that we would normally spend a lot of money on. But I've got 35,000 employees who all speak to hundreds and thousands of people in their own communities. And if they love this brand and they're behind everything we're doing at Rite and Thrifty, they'll go out and they'll create the demand that we need. And it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, from a Netflix perspective, I see it as being really simple. The proudest tenet is to aspire to entertain the world, right? Everybody, all over the globe. It's the only streaming platform where you can have a very seamless global effort, both from a creator standpoint and from a consumer standpoint. The algorithm is global, you can access all content. And it's very intentional. It's also very intentional that we have a very high level of underrepresented leads. About 50% of all of our content globally is 50% of that is underrepresented leads, and making sure that we're speaking literally to everyone, which is why we're really able to continue to create this deeply resonant emotional content. It's why fandom is a thing, a major, major thing, which leads to, offshore tentacles like the Bridgerton Bath and Body Works project and many others, because consumers are continuously looking for ways to go deeper with these stories in the physical world. And we, as a company, really want to make sure that we're creating the space for that. We have Netflix House, which is coming in 2025, which is is basically going to be a Netflix theme park. Yeah.
Very cool.
And so we are doing a lot of great stuff to create immersive, sort of permanent experiences for fans. So we're doing that. We're also really, really focused on content. We've done it well for over a decade. It continues to be a major focus. The highest priority in the company is making sure that we deliver amazing, resonant content for everybody. And that makes me really excited because I've come into the company 11 months in, and we are clearly the number one in the space in terms of being the most watched per Nielsen. And we continue to see that year over year. And it's just really, we talk about DNA, we talk about culture. That is truly embedded in Netflix's culture, to consistently make sure that the content is of the utmost priority and is the driving force of everything else.
Excellent answers. Sorry.
Yeah, wow.
It was a really good question.